One of the biggest reasons why I never really made any financial progress wasn't because I didn't earn enough money. It was actually because I had no idea where my money was going. I wasn't tracking it, I wasn't measuring it, and because of that, I couldn't improve it or my situation. Every month, I'd get paid, I'd pay the bills, and I'd spend what was left. And I had no idea where my money was going. Now, the reality of that is if you don't track your money and if you don't know where it's going, it is impossible to build wealth and financial freedom. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Ian. I'm 36 years old. I'm a full-time school teacher, a husband, and a dad of two. And I'm on a mission to change my financial future to give me more options, more choices, and more freedom for my family. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact budgeting spreadsheet that I am using and the method that I'm using as well, which has been taken from so many awesome methods out there and inspiration from some amazing people that I have learned from in the last year. So if you'd like the spreadsheet that I am using, stay tuned. I'm going to be letting you know how you can get hold of that at the end of this video, absolutely free, where you can take it, download it, change it, modify it, whatever you would like to do with it. But it's a simple method which is working amazingly for me already. The budgeting problem then. For years, I knew I should be budgeting, but it was always one of those jobs that felt boring. It was like a chore. And I'd always tell myself every weekend, I'll do it next weekend. But that never came round. And because I wasn't being intentional with my money, I had no idea where it was going. I was just reacting to money. Money would come in, bills would go out, I'd spend what was left, and that cycle would repeat. And then I realized that budgeting isn't about boring spreadsheets. It's actually about awareness. Because if you're not aware of where your money's going, how can you reduce any unnecessary spending? And eventually I realized that I personally needed a simple budgeting method that I would actually stick to improve my awareness of my money. Before creating my own simple spreadsheet, I researched so much into different budgeting methods. And honestly, there's so many great ones out there which are awesome. The issue was, however, was that it wasn't they didn't work, it was just they didn't work for me and my personal circumstances. Right, I'm not going to spend this video going through every budgeting method. However, there are two that really stood out to me that I loved the look of and I wanted to implement. The first one is the 50-30-20 budgeting method. In a nutshell, the 50-30-20 budgeting method is where you take 50% of your income and you put it towards your needs. The 30% goes towards the things you want, and then the final 20% goes towards your savings, investments, and debt payoff. It's a super simple method, and I really like it because of that reason, but also because it prioritizes that saving, investment, and debt payoff element. But when I looked at my own finances, I realized that my life just doesn't fit into those percentages neatly. My mortgage payments are high, my food payments are high, and the childcare for my children is super high as well. And if you've got children, you will also know how expensive they can be. When I actually looked at my percentages, instead of having 50% of my needs actually totaled to 68%. 11% went towards the things that I wanted, and then 12% went on to my debt, payments, investments, and savings. For me, however, that was debt payments. And then as a bonus, I had 8% left over. But that dwindled away and I couldn't tell you what on earth I actually spent it on. So while I liked the overall idea of it, I was unable to fit my life realistically into those percentages. The second method that I liked was the zero-based budgeting, and that is where every pound that you earn is given a specific job and a specific role, where nothing is left unaccounted for. Every pound has a purpose, whether that's paying bills, building savings, or paying off debt. The challenge for me, however, again, wasn't that it didn't work, it was actually that I didn't feel like I had enough time, month after month, to track using this method. Life gets busy, I'm super busy at work, and I just didn't feel I had the time to be able to implement this budgeting system into my own life. And therefore I wanted something that I could realistically and simply stick to every single month. So instead of choosing one method over the other, I just took the bits that would work for me. Nothing revolutionary. From the 50-30-20 approach, I love the simplicity. And I wanted to keep the idea of my needs as my essentials, my wants being my non-essentials, and then that saving, investment, and debt payoff element. And then for whatever was left out of my budget, I knew I could then apply the zero-based budgeting to that so that nothing was left unaccounted for at the end of the month. And that is what has led me to create the spreadsheet that I'm using today. And it's nothing revolutionary, it's nothing groundbreaking, it's just given me a simple view of my finances and allowing me to see what is coming in and what is going out every single month. And it's working for me, which feels great. So let's get into it. I'm going to really quickly whiz through this spreadsheet with you. So this was, I say current situation. At the top, I've got my net income, £5,000 a month. Got to be clear, that is my wage, my wife's wage put together and a little bit of extra work we do on the side. So £5,000 for both of us, household net income. We've got the essentials element still here, mortgage, council tax, bills, all as normal. And that makes up that essentials on needs part of the 50-30-20 model. Now, it was 68%, super high. My non-essentials, however, was only 11%, but looking at this spreadsheet has made me realize how much I wasted on things that I didn't actually need, even though the actual non-essentials wasn't as high as I thought it would be. And then finally, my debt, investments and savings element, for me, debt payoff, was at just over 12%, meaning that I had nearly 8% or £400 left at the end of the month, but it dwindled down into nothing. Now, looking at the spreadsheet and sitting down, I've been able to make some massive changes, which is really helping me out. In my essentials column, I've actually been able to look at it, reassess it. I've managed to cut down on food. I've started cycling to work every single day, halving my petrol cost from my vehicle. I have lowered my childcare cost. I've managed to change a few hours at work, so I work a lot later in the evenings now, but that means I save money by not having to put my children into after school club for as long as what I was. It saved me a fortune, to be honest with you. My non-essentials, I looked at it, realized how many memberships and subscriptions I had, which I didn't need. I got rid of my gym membership because I got a gym in the garage. I've just started using that. I've got rid of loads of my subscriptions, and that has massively reduced this element. Now, my savings and debt payoffs, I've got debt. I've done a previous video on that, so please look into it. I pay off my credit cards, and I've also started investing £40 into savings. I want the psychological win of knowing I'm investing, even though I've got debt. Check out my other video on that. Now, that has left me with a remaining total of 23.5%, which is massive. So using that zero-based budgeting method, I am putting all of that money now into my savings, investments, and debt payoff. So that now has a specific job, and that is paying off my debt, which I've already started doing it, and honestly, it's incredible the feeling I'm getting. That means, just to summarize it up, I can now potentially pay off £1,619 off of my debt. And once that is gone, that money can then be invested, which is going to be how I'm going to hopefully get my way to a better financial future. If you'd like a copy of the spreadsheet I'm using, please find a link in the description below. You can download it for free, you can customize it, you can make it work to your own current financial situation. And if you're interested in my own personal financial freedom journey as I pay off debt, learn to invest confidently and build wealth, please subscribe to this channel. I'm really hoping to inspire as many people as possible to take this journey with me and to build a community of people that also want to become financially free. Because honestly, it is possible for everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where I'll be showing you and telling you a question which has absolutely changed my life and how I think about money and my own spending. So I'll see you there.